It hurts to love you. I love you. I don't want to, but I do. On our last day, you told me you were my first aid kit. You told me you were my safety blanket when I needed you most. I hear those words in my head 4 years later with that same feeling of complete satisfaction that fills my soul. When you came into my life and agreed to be a part of it, you signed up without reading the terms and conditions of being with me. It was like you didn't sign up at all. You violated those conditions and took a free ride. You told me I was unworthy of love and that I deserved all of my pain, past, present, and future. You were convinced I was better off dead while I was wrestling with my own demons. But the worst part of hearing you say that with a smile on your face was that I was stupid enough to believe you. I believed you and took your advice, and when break was over, you had amnesia over the whole conversation. Nothing hurt more. Your intentions were never the harmful pieces to your soul, but it was in these various moments that I saw your own demons emerge. You were always so quick to point out my own flaws that you didn't recognize your own bipolar demeanor. You were so consumed with what others thought of our relationship, you told me I was your best-kept secret. They all had you believing I was an overweight, crazy stalker, and you were foolish enough to let that into your own precious thoughts. The thoughts of me being someone you could come to in crisis were over the minute you believed them. Who would have known I would spend 3,240 days and counting, pretending that the reason I got out of bed wasn't for you? Every night I begged God to release me from the pain you caused with your harmful marks. So much so my lungs grasped for air as I screamed and sliced my wrist on a nightly basis just to feel something, other than the betrayal of you choosing them over me. I begged God for cancer, for a car accident, for death, and never got my wish. Instead of prioritizing myself and my ambitions, I prioritized the way you thought about me and lost myself in you. Who else would have had that dedication? Not you. You made me feel like I was the only girl in the world when we were alone talking about our life, but yet anytime we had visitors, I was the demon in the dark corner of your mind, always avoiding. When it was you and I, we had plans, a future, laughter, and enjoyment, but the moment they walked in, that life disappeared like your biggest sin. You've never lost yourself in me, but never realized how far I lost myself in you. I was so absorbed in you that I lost my best friends. I isolated myself to focus on you, and when I had no one but you and too many emotions, I would put on When You Need to Feel Something to the loudest my speakers would go, and drove the city until I couldn't cry anymore and my lungs could breathe again. I did this so often that soon enough my brain had had enough and decided to seize. I lost control of my life with you and therefore lost control of my own body. Do you understand how frustrating that is? You pushed me so far that my body broke up with you before I could. It said, enough, I can't do this anymore, while my mouth said, I love you. What it must be like to think that the worst thing to happen to you was to have somebody love you. What an idea. What a theory. You had the best to love you. You had an entire world beaming in your shadow, but you turned to face your own version of the sun. You turned to leave that world in the cold to freeze and break off piece by piece. I remember our last day of senior year, I sat studying your face, knowing deep down I would never lay eyes on it again. I was right. You took me off the shelf for your use at your leisure, and when you were done, you threw me out for the shiny new toy. It hurts when I see the look on my mother's face when she caught me in the most raw state of mind. I had never seen such hurt and hatred in her eyes. Most of all, it hurts when my brain shakes its fist at you and my limbs reach for you in every direction. The frustration of feeling like I still need you when I know I don't. I'm sure it can all be so confusing to understand or to even begin to explain what these feelings are. It is extremely difficult to make someone understand why your heart beats the way it does. Most people fear death the most, and while I do fear this, my biggest fear was always losing you and having to pretend that I didn't. I don't pretend anymore. Not that I loved you, not that I lost you, not that there weren't bad times, not that there weren't days I inexplicably hated you. I accept that you are gone and that I am in need of grieving the beauty mark you left behind. More importantly, I accept who you left leaving me to be.